Hello everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this is ICT with Tatan, and what we look at is provide tutorials for IGCSE ICT 0417, and these tutorials to be helpful if you just want to learn, understand ICT or develop ICT skills, basic skills, and this is specifically for students doing the Cambridge IGCSE syllabus across the globe, so it's not limited to students in a specific location. So if you're in a Cambridge accredited school, this syllabus are for you. And today we'll be looking at chapter 12, which is images. If you've not already watched the other videos from other chapters, from chapter 1 to 11, there will be a link in the description for any chapter you might like. You can click on those links to go back to those videos. And just a recap, in chapter 11 we looked at file management, which is basically how to manage your files, how to know which specific files you'll be dealing with in your exam, and not just in your exam, in your real life. If you own a computer, you have maybe Microsoft Word document, you have PDF document, you have videos, you have images in your computer. So those are different types of file format. And more importantly, one thing you should know, it's the what we call a generic file format, which is typical of what you'll be using for your in your exam. Because what a generic file format is a file which can be opened across different types of computers. So you can open that file in a Mac, you can open it in a Windows computer. So JPEG file, for instance, you can open it in a phone, you can open it in a computer, you can open it in an Apple or a Mac OS. And we also have PDFs, we have RTF, like the rich text format, meaning it's a generic file format. So you should know these differences. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this chapter is because I've gotten requests that people want to like have a better idea or to a better understanding of how to answer practical type paper one questions. And the best way to do that is for us to have like a recap or a brief revision on the practical part of this syllabus, which is chapter 11 all the way to chapter 21. So what I'll do in this chapter is simply just for us to give you a revision on how to play around with images, because you will have to play with images in your paper 2. You will have to work on an image in your chapter in your paper 3. So this is a very important aspect of it, and along the line I might point out some things that you should pay particular attention to. For instance, how you should stretch an image, how to crop an image, the best approaches. So those are things we'll be looking at, and I will not follow this in any particular order. I will just try to go into this task, which I know a lot of you will be familiar with, but while I'm doing that, it's just for me to show you some tricks and easy ways to go around things. The first thing is for you to open this file. Typically, once you sit in front of a computer, try to familiarize yourself, know where everything is, or where what you need is. For instance, I open this up because this is what I want to work with. So typically you should do that. And this is the file I want, is .rtf, meaning you can open on any type of computer. So you just have to double click on that, or you right click, and my computer is a little bit lagging. You right click and then you can say open. So once it opens, mine is already open. The first thing they're saying you should do is you should open. This is something funny. People might not know. They say insert images, no borders, and trees at the end of the document. When they say insert, try to insert. At times copying images, you might mess up with the aspect ratio and the resolution of the image, and it will be noticed. So that might cost you some marks. So when they say insert the images, so they say insert snowball, snowman. This, I'm just maybe not going to do everything they say, just because I want to make this video very short. I'm gonna go to insert. I'm going to go to pictures. It becomes important now. You need to know exactly where your files are located. My files are inside my textbook and chapter source files. I'm working on chapter 12. So they say I should insert, let me see, the set snowball, snowman, and trees. So I'm just gonna insert them. I might not use all of them. Snowball, snowman, and trees. I might not use all of them, but I'm just gonna insert them. So I have, yeah, I have those images there. Good. So you can insert multiple images at a time. So make sure you go to the end. If you come here, click, it will take you to the end of your page. That's where you want to insert those images. So that is already done. That is just what I'm trying to show you here. Just insert the images. Now they want you to edit an image. I'm just gonna go to tax 2, open the file tax 12a, and one thing too I want to show you, which might be of help to some people, those who are fast learners. For instance, if I know this is where my documents are, you can just click at the end here, then press down on Ctrl C, meaning I'm copying. Once you come here and they say insert, and then you just go to insert, you go to insert pictures, this device. In some cases, because I had already opened it, this will not show up. So once this happens, what you need to do is go here and just do click on that place, Ctrl V. It will take you to this same place, and you can insert your image. So those are easy ways. You don't need to be clicking drive this, drive that. No. So those are easy tricks. I'll go over that again. Just come here. If this is open in your computer, click at the end, Ctrl C. Yeah. So, or you can do copy, and then once you come to insert, you go to insert pictures, this PC. Now because I've opened, that's why it's showing. If it doesn't show for your case, let's say it's showing something else. Let's say I'm just gonna click let's say it's showing something else. Just if it's showing something like this, now what I can do, I'll just click here, I'll go insert, no, not that, I'll go this, and then click on this arrow. It will bring you here, so you can just click and insert whatever image you want to insert. So take note of that, very important. Next thing you want to do, they say you should resize the image snowboard or GBet to 8 centimeters high and maintain its aspect ratio. Be very careful, this is very important. Maintaining the aspect ratio of an image is very important. So they say you should resize the image snowball this. So remember what that snowball image is. So this is the snowball image. They want to reduce the height to 8 centimeters. So it's this simple. Just click on your image, you right click. That's one option. You can select your image, right click on it, go to size and position, or you can come to picture format. Once you click here, come to picture format, and you can click here. It will bring this up to you. You go to this size. That is the size. So if I do this, right click, size and position, is gonna bring that up still to me. Now they want you to do the height of the image to be 8 centimeters. So just click in here, 8 centimeters, and go to very importantly, make sure your aspect, you might do this and your aspect ratio is locked, it's not locked. Make sure your aspect ratio is locked, because they say something here very important. They said what? Maintain your aspect ratio. This is very important. So make sure your aspect ratio is locked when you're doing the resizing. Make sure this thing is locked 8 centimeters. Then you do OK. The image, you see what happens to it. It resizes. You can check it here. It's 8 centimeters by 6 centimeters. So you resize just the top. Next, they say you should resize the image of the snowman to 2.5 high and 2 centimeters wide. This one they specify just the height, so provide just the height. This one I've given you the height and the width. So if you remember, the snowman image is the green one, so I'm gonna look for that image. I can go here to go to size and position. They say 2.5 centimeters, and width should be what, 2 centimeters, right? do that. So that's a problem. You see what is happening now. How do you solve that? Because how do you solve that? I'm gonna do 2.5. Yeah, so to take care of that, or how do you to do that, one important thing, even if you untick this, it's still not gonna do the job. So you have to, this is where unlocking the aspect ratio becomes important. If you don't unlock the aspect ratio, it's always gonna give you the same size. So once you unlock that, you put 2 here, and then you click on OK. It's gonna resize the image, and you can always check here 2.5 by 2 centimeters, so you're good to go. And next thing is save the document as a task 12b. So always pay attention to, I'm not gonna do that. At times they will ask you to give evidence of your document, so always make sure you do that. I've done that already. You say open the file, Romora, does it save a copy of the file in your work folder, resize the file too. I'm not gonna do that because they want you to use a graphics package. Like I said, you don't really need a graphics package, but if you have it, feel free to use it. Today I'm gonna just focus on how to play around with images in Microsoft Word. And I'm just gonna go to what was the next thing they want you to do, text wrapping. Yeah, so I'm just gonna point this you to this. You should try to understand exactly the different text wrappings and what they do. They are almost the same, but try to see the key differences between them. These are the type of questions they'll ask you in your, these are practical type paper one type questions. So what is in line with text, what is square, what is tight, and what is true. So try to read them, understand them, and one way to understand them is to play around with them. And now I think there should be a task somewhere. I'm just looking for a task where they want you to do something. uh, they want you to place an image somewhere. Where is that task? I am trying to look at a task where they want you to place an image. Anyway, I'm not gonna worry about tags. I'm just gonna have us play around with this image a little bit. Now you can move this image around, but it's very important for you to know what you're doing. At this point we're going to do wrap text. I can do tight, I can do square, I can do true, I can do top to bottom, I can do behind text, depending on what you want to do. But what I'm gonna leave it at, I'm going to do it with, leave it to have to be in line with text. So I'm just gonna move that image up. Okay, I'm just gonna move it around. Yeah, I can place it in some, I'm just gonna place that image somewhere here. You see, meaning wherever I place it, that's the meaning of in line with text. But so what did I just do? I just changed the text wrapping to square, or you can also change it to tight. They will specify in your question paper, so just know exactly what each of them does. Once I do inline text, it's difficult to place this image nicely, so I'm gonna do this. This is I'm gonna leave wrap text. I'm gonna do it tight, it's often very better, or you can do square. In these cases it works perfectly well. This, so this is gonna fit in somewhere nicely. Depending on the final outcome of your image, they can also tell you the size and position. So they can tell you alignment, absolute position, and all those things. They can be specified in your exam paper, so make sure you take note of that. Alignment, I can do right alignment. Yeah, I can do that, so it means I want it to align to the right. You can also do when you go to size and position, you can play around it. You can go to position, relative position, text wrapping. Actually you can do in line with text. Once I click OK, it's gonna mess it up. Now the next thing is I'm gonna go back to size and position. So this is your main thing you have to work with. I can do I've not done behind text. This is what happens when you do behind text. The image just goes behind your text. Or if I don't want to go there, just click here, bring me back here, text wrapping. For this type of image, if you have to place an image at the side, very likely you're going to use square or tight. True is often not very good for that, so square or tight will be the best bet options. So once you do that, I can actually change let me see, you can actually reposition this image alignment. You can do right, vertical alignment, not outside, top. So you see what I just did? Yeah. So now I can move it around. You can move an image to anywhere in your document. So once I do this, you want it to be nicely placed. If you look at this document, I'm not following any particular format, but if you look at the final document, I just want us to see what we're working towards. If you look at this, you see the way they've arranged it here. So let's try to get something like this by just playing around with the image. I'm not going to follow any rules or any regulations, but I want you to watch and understand what you can do with an image typically. So once I have this, yeah, I have something like this. It's within this. Be careful with this where your page ends. You don't want your image to be here. That is wrong. Your image always has to be within your page margins. So these are your margins. If you put it here, when they print out this page, let's say they have to staple something on it, your image is going to be out of where it's supposed to be. So your image should always fall within this margin. It shouldn't go beyond the margin. So this looks okay for now until we see otherwise. Next, I'm gonna play around with this little guy. You can carry an image if you want to. You can just hold down on it and drag if you want to, or you can yeah, I'm gonna do that. Now the problem with this image is the text wrapping. I'm going to go to size and position, text wrapping. I'm going to go to square. Once I do square that, you see what happens. The image, nice, the image does that. Yeah, once I do square, this is what the image does. So the image is there, it's seated, and there might be instructions to do other things, but this looks like the best case scenario. You don't want the image to be like this. This is a heading, right? School closures, or it's a subheading. You want the image to be somewhere like this, typically like what they do in newspapers if you look closely. So the heading is just above and then the text flows under. So that works for us. And I think the next thing they might want you to do is let me see what they were saying we should do. Just arrange everything. Reflect the image. No, I'm not reflecting. They say reflect the image. No, man, no. There was a place. Rotate this image through. No, I'm not doing that. I'm just looking for, yeah, what I'm looking for. There is something I saw here sometime in this chapter. Okay, you need to crop this image, rotate the image. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, I don't want an image. Crop an image. Good. So this is what I'm actually looking for. Now let's say you should crop the image trees to remove the bottom 25% of it. Now one interesting thing, I don't know why they did that with this image. If you look at this image, you see that this is the top and this is the bottom. You see that that's the top and that's the bottom. So Instead, you should remove the bottom 25% of the image. There are different ways you can address that. You can still come to picture format, you go to crop, you can do that, but let's do it this way. If you click here, this is size and position. We don't want a size and position. You can go to crop. If you right click, it will take you to crop. If you go to picture format, you always have this crop option here. But I want us to go somewhere. No, it's here. Okay, I'm going to format picture. So this is where I want us to come to. Now there are different options you can fill. So these are things, spend some time, play around them. Now I want the crop option. They want me to crop the top 25% of the image, right? So very importantly, when you want to crop an image, you should make sure before you do that, you can check this out. Make sure that the aspect ratio is locked so that you don't distort the image. So once I do that, I can't exactly measure 25%, but if you like, go ahead and do that. You can check the height of the image, 21 centimeters. You can get 25% or 21, and you can, yeah, for instance, 10% of 20 is like it's 2, right? So I'm gonna take it down a little bit. um, just let me see. Yeah, 50% is somewhere here. Like, just a moment. This is a trick. Let me show you a trick you could use. You see where 50% of the image is? This is 50%. 25% is somewhere here. I'm just estimating. Yeah, 25% will be somewhere here. So that might be that's my 25%. It might not be very accurate, but yeah, this is my 25% somewhere here. So once you get the 25%, you are done. You let it be. I think it's flipped over. Let me see. Yeah, the image is flipped somehow. So reflect the image normal. No, I don't want to do that. Scrub the yeah, we'll have to place that image somewhere here. Now it becomes important. If you look at this image, it's facing away. They want you to reflect it. How do you reflect an image? It's also something very easy. It's still, if you don't have this open up, just right click on your image, go to format picture. This should come up. Now this is reflection option. Just go there, right? Reflection, you can do blur different directions, but that's not what we want. Sorry, that's not what you want. The reflection you want to do is the think 3D rotation kind of reflection. That's the reflection you want. You want 3D rotation. So the image is like this. You can, do you see what I'm doing? I want to turn it to look, it's gonna be 180 degrees. You're flipping it 180 degrees. You can just type it in there if you want, but that is it. That is what they want you to do, 180 degrees flip. So remember, I went to what, 3D rotation. So reflection, under reflection you have many options. So 3D rotation. For this image, one important thing, like I said, is the image looks upside down. Not, it doesn't mean you're gonna get this type of images, but there are a lot of editings you have to do. I'm probably gonna flip this image. Let me see. can actually flip this image if I want to. That was a bad idea. I'm just gonna do 180 and go. That is good. This guy, I'm gonna flip it 180. Yeah, it looks more like what we want it to be, right? Yeah, it does. So the next thing is 180 this way. Yeah, now it looks like what I want it to be. I flipped it upside down and then flipped it the other way because the bottom was top. Anyway, I think I need to re-show you that. If you look, this image looks, the bottom of the image is up. So I'm gonna flip it 180. Next, this side, we want it to be on the side. They will give you instructions. I'm just trying to reproduce what is in the final document without necessarily following all the tasks they are giving them. So once I have that, yeah, one important thing too I must tell you is don't ever take an image and you are doing like this. That's very bad. You distort the image. Don't ever you do this. You have distorting the image. So once I do that, so the best way to resize an image is to do this. Always pull the image from the edges. So these are some of the things you should pay attention to. Always pull the image from the edge. And before you do that too, always make sure, go to size and position. Make sure your aspect ratio is locked. That way you can resize it and you know it will not pixel it. So do this, do that. It doesn't. So I'm just gonna do that. Next, I'm gonna push it up. I know where I want my image to be. Let's just say you're just doing your own thing. This is not an exam. You just doing your own design. I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna do square. I'm gonna bring it down somewhere here. You see the image is sort of still bigger than I want it to be, so I'm gonna still resize it. And one important thing you should know, they might not tell you, but you need to resize this table. It's bigger than it should be, so you need to resize it. Those are also things you have to, like, it's common sense you have to use in some cases. They will not give you details of everything. And look at the way it's organized here. Resize, pull to the back, and all the pictures were aligned, and so that's what you want to try to also do. So I'm gonna do that. Let's see what I'm doing. I'm stretching it from, see how closed up this guy is. I don't know if I moved this guy a little bit. I probably did. Just trying to recreate what they have here. So you have some space there. Yeah, I think I moved this maybe too much. Yeah, there's probably a lot of some editing we are supposed to do before we get here. That's why some of these things are still distorted. But you get the idea. The idea is just for you to understand how to move images around. I think I messed up something here. Yeah, that should be fine. This should be fine. So yeah, basically this is how you want to try to have your image aligned. good. This looks about it. If you see these guys, they are on one way to do, you see they are on one line. Maybe not. Now these guys are on one line. These two are lines where this okay, everything. Yeah, there might be other editings you need to do, but just to give you an idea of how you should be able to play around with images, spend some time, explore the different things that you can do here, know exactly how to move an image around. One other thing I didn't show when they talk about wrap text, there are other options you can go through. Through just means the image can move into almost any place. You can even add an image into a table, so it just depends on what they want you to do. Other wrap text options are in front of text, which means it will come in front of the text, behind text, but you hardly use most of the in front of text. You mostly use behind text and these other options. So yeah, basically that introduces you to images, how to play around with images. And one other important thing too is you might be asked to place an image with precision. For instance, if I click on this image and take size and position, if I go to position, they might ask you to say that they might ask you to play around the top alignment, top of page. They might ask you to center. They might tell you to change the absolute position is 3.8 centimeters below, right? Below the page margin, but I can make it to be 1 centimeter. You can make it to be 1 centimeter. These are just things that will come up depending. So it's 1 centimeter from the edge of the page. You see that? Before it was 3.5. So make sure that's you trying to place an image with precision. For instance, let me see, size and position. Absolute position. This is absolute position. That's where they hide this to the right of page. Absolute position. This is below page. Let's just say I'm gonna try play around this image even more. Let me to show you something. So if I have size, go to size and position. Let's say I want this image in a specific, they can tell you specifically, and they say place this image absolute position. Right now it's 0 centimeters to right of page. I can put it 2 centimeters to right of page. Vertically below paragraph, I can say it should be 0 centimeters. If I do that, it's just gonna center somewhere here. This because the next page. You can pretty much move your page, your image to anywhere. The most important thing is you knowing how to open up this box. You can specify all those things here because they will provide you with the numbers. Place the image here, place the image here. So placing an image with precision is very important, and as you can see, this is all done. This is something which you will need for most situations, most papers you'll be dealing with. And yeah, they can also ask you to, let me see, size and position. We've looked at text wrapping. You can we've looked at alignment, move to object with the lock and call, allow layout tab. So all these things, depending on what you are specified to do, you can play out. You can also you might also have to use them. You can be actually asked to put borders around your image. Let me see, or transparency. They can ask you to play with transparency. So those are things you should know where to get them. You can ask you to play with the color of your image. They can ask you to do some picture correction, sharpness. You can ask you to see what is happening to that image. So those are things you should know how to do. Brightness, they ask you to increase or reduce your brightness. So you should know how to do some of those things. And just to conclude, I'm gonna give you a brief recap. The most important things when you're dealing with an image is click on your image, right click. You can either go to size and position, which will bring you this box. You can prescribe the size of your image, pay attention to the aspect ratio. If you want to resize an image relative to a specific, maybe just the height, you don't need to open the aspect ratio. But if you have to resize maybe 8 by 2, you need to open the aspect ratio. If not, your image will automatically resize according to the height. You can do text wrapping depending on what is specified. You can do positioning. You can position your image specifically in a in a particular place in your document. Secondly, the most important thing you need also when you're dealing with images is format picture. It brings you this box. In this box you can fill with solid color, and then you can be asked to do a solid line around your image. Like if you see what I just did, I added a line. I can increase you see that you can be asked to do some things like this. You can frame your image, but we're not asked to do that, so I'm just showing you things you can do. Next, you should be able to do, you can ask to do a shadow. Hardly have I seen that, but you can always be asked to reflect. Reflection very often will be in 3D, so you have to do the image not selected. You have to do 3D rotation. It can be flip this way, flip that way. So know exactly what you're being asked to do. You can be asked to crop, to I think this is text box alignment. If you have a text box you're dealing with, we are not dealing with a text box. You can also be asked to crop an image. This is crop, the crop section. You can be asked to crop an image. Maybe you can specify here, but typically I usually prefer to right click on my image and just take crop, bring it down or bring it up the way you want it to be. So these are the two most important boxes, or these menu boxes you want to open up when you're playing with an image. And I believe with that you should be all set, and other editings and whatnot, you should be able to handle that without any problem. And thank you for watching. Let me know in the comment section if you what you think about the video. Like, share, comment, and I'll see you in the next video.